So like Matt said, we've actually gotten a lot of questions. I've had people come up to me as well, all asking about the same thing, Earth insights for meter inspections and our insights for locate, photo, ticket audits, paint and flag models. So, lots of words there. So, but what I really want to break down is just the different types of models that we're using. And this is really like near and dear to my heart because I was actually able to help create these. So the ones that we're going to be talking about specifically are locate, photo, ticket audits, as well as meter inspections. Optical character recognition, or OCR, is what we kind of use to help that move forward and get more details about photos. So this really brings in more of the damage prevention with our Earth insights and how we can then use that again. We've been talking about this a lot today with workflows, work items, bringing everything together so that you guys can make a difference in your companies. So the problem here that we're really looking to get addressed is that there's so many locate tickets that you guys are receiving. We've raised our hands that sometimes you're receiving too many. So you receive hundreds of millions of tickets a year. And that manual auditing of every ticket, being the photos, especially if there are hundreds of photos that are being added to every ticket, is just crazy to even think of as a responsibility. But that accuracy is so important, especially when it comes to safety. So each ticket must include that proper photo documentation. So that's including the correct paint and flags, colors, as well as photos being taken at the actual dig site, so within a certain buffer for the location. The risk there is inaccurate or missing data that can lead to compliance violations, safety hazards, costly damages, and all of this kind of flows together with our risk models. But those are that's setting the scene for the models themselves. So first talking about locate, photo, ticket audits. So really why we were looking to have this type of model is that we wanted to automate photo validation. So we really want to ensure that the correct paint and flag colors are providing that location accuracy as well. So really with the paint and flags, we've been talking about them a lot, seen them in other presentations as well. We're really familiar with people having to spray paint or stand particular flag colors. And what we've seen is that one, the flag colors could be completely wrong, or also the people are not at the right location, or they're repeating the same photos over and over again, and so they're not actually getting an accurate recollection for that ticket. Also the volume, we mentioned before, that manual auditing is impractical, so we need that accurate documentation. So what did we build? Our models actually detect the correct markings as well as the correct location. I had a lot of fun actually creating these because I got to search and look for the photos. We work with the customers themselves to receive actual photos so that we can use that to train our models. But really, the key there is the configurable pass-fail criteria. It's pretty much like a ones and zeros, yes or no, did it pass or fail? We also wanted to configure the max distance from a dig site, the percent of certainty for the validation of those attachments, as well as the required number of valid attachments. We are looking to make some enhancements with this, and we'll continue to do that with our models as we're receiving more information from you guys as our customers, but that's how it currently works. There's automation of flagging tickets as passing or filling, and the current available models are yellow and orange flags, but we are continuing to increase those. The training itself is done with Microsoft Custom Vision. As you've heard before, Microsoft is a close partner of ours. And then the more pictures, the better. So we do retrain our models in a certain cadence, but the more pictures that we can receive, especially when we have people who are already doing the auditing, it's very simple of just classifying them in specific folders, and that works for them to hand them over to me. I retrain the models, and that's it. Very, very simple process. Now, what value does this bring to your business? So first, scalable auditing without increasing headcount. We've heard how resourcing is very, very difficult, whether that's turnover or just not having the budget to hire enough resources, as well as improved compliance and accountability. Everything is documented within Utilisphere, the product that you're already using. And then reduce risk of missed or incorrect locates. We really want to make sure that that safety aspect is there, and this helps us and you to do that. So I'm going to kind of bring these models together. So I talked about OCR for the locate photos. This is basically an enhancement to what is already there. The reason I separated it is because there's different steps to the process, but not for you. All of this is just a part of everything to you, but I wanted to break it down. So this part with OCR, optical character recognition, so it's using machine learning to detect and interpret the text of the images. So when we're first talking about the paint and flags, that's just the colors. So the colors of the paint, the colors of the flag. But we're not actually talking about any text and what that is being reviewed as. So we're looking to enhance locate accuracy by verifying that location metadata. Now mind you, this is a very good example of Earth using its own data to then provide you with more value. We're already receiving that GPS information. We already get the lat long. This is just using that to make it more accurate for you. And then we're extracting those GPS coordinates and other data from the images using AI. So the processing itself, it's recognizing those GPS coordinates from those photo timestamps. I do recognize that some people are using like third-party photo apps, but those photo apps are using the data and you're uploading them to Utilisphere. This can still read those same photos. So whether you're using our own mobile app or a third-party app, it still does the same thing. So also flagging tickets that are not in proximity to the dig site. Now mind you again, this is configurable. So it's what you as your company are comfortable with as being that buffer site. And then you can view which tickets pass or fail. So we have that pre-image processing, the character recognition, and that post-processing is that those next steps of what you decide to do in your workflow. This is what it looks like in Utilisphere. So I zoomed it in because this is pretty tiny. So we have the small timestamp here. I tried to make it a little bit bigger. It might be just a little difficult to read, so I'm gonna read out the information. So the first photo on the left is showing the sidewalk picture, and it has the time date stamp. We have the date, we have a time, and we have the GPS, the lat long. So that is what the photo has read. What's on the right image is the information that you will see. So you have the different dates of the information that, when the photo was taken, and then you see whether or not it passed or failed. So in this case, it's saying that it failed because the image was a certain number of feet away from the dig site, and it was greater than the specific threshold. I know it's tough to see right now, but just bear with me, that's what it says. So these were all of our tests. So this is how we figured, or how we tested that the validation was working correctly because those photos were not taken within the certain dates. Again, configurable. Values, question, I can take a question. I think we're good on time.
Oh, sorry, did those just show up in the ticket history, or is that like a notification that gets sent out to someone, like if it does fail?
Great question. So one, yes, this is available just in the system, so if you wanted to just manually see it, yes, you can also build alerts so that you can be notified when it happens. We got a question from Craig over there.
Yeah, there's another part to that as well. We have this configured in our system. If a locator, we have a buffer around the dig box. And if a locator takes a picture or has a set of pictures and they're with outside of the perimeter of the dig box or a buffer, he gets that notice when he tries to put a response on that ticket and has to respond to that. He will not allow him to complete a response unless he has tickets in that dig area. And what that does for us, and it happens occasionally, is a locator can misunderstand the instructions and a wrong address, or maybe in the front yard should have been the back or whatever. And by validating that at the response, we don't find out later because of a damage. We find out at the time of the locate, and he corrects it before we continue on.
Thank you for that, Craig. Yeah, we're continuing to enhance these as well. So other pieces that we're also building are that the error messages that are popping up, the not allowing for a user to respond. So we're continuing to build on these. So this is something that you'll continue to hear about and enhance. That's if you get those notifications in the release notes, you'll see those updates.
Just a curiosity question. So it saves all the metadata, so it has an XY coordinate. Could that put it in bubbles on a map so we could see where the photo was actually taken at?
I don't
Within
have
10 feet or whatever.
I don't have Chris in the room right now, so I have to take that as a
Okay,
no.
like I said, just a curiosity question for me, because you know, sometimes we get on projects and we might have hundreds of photos. Well, you can see the attachments that you have to go to each individual photo.
Yeah,
Now,
so
I can see where they took the photo from, and if I go back to an image, I have to look at the photo from the same.
yeah, and that's something where, as far as like comments and ways that we're looking to enhance things, and also the ability right now you can only see this on the web. So we're looking to make this available in mobile as well.
So you can look at the ticket history on any ticket that we do with the mobile and use the mobile camera. And it actually puts bubbles where they took pictures at what time, and you can click on the bubble and see what time it was and so on. So you can look at it, and our auditors use this, and our managers use this, and they'll bring up like a ticket that was done yesterday, and they can see where the locator took his pictures at, what time he took his pictures, and it's all a bubble, a bunch of bubbles on the map.
So I will ask a clarifying question, because I thought you guys were using a third-party photo app. Are you still not?
We still do.
Okay.
You're reading that off of it.
Okay.
We use a third party outside the mobile app, we use it for the desktop app, we use a third party. For the mobile app, they take pictures with the phone.
Oh, okay.
Those are the ones that's given us the bubble.
Gotcha, okay, thank you.
All good questions. We'll save the rest of them until the end so you can get through it.
Yeah, I only have a few more slides. That's why I felt comfortable taking them. Yeah, so for the value here for a company is that we're having faster data extraction validation. Like Craig was saying, before you can even respond, we're already letting you know that, or letting the locator know that they need to take the photos again. Also, that comes in with that duplication. So if we're recognizing that photos were the same photo that was taken and inappropriately so this is where it's not that it's a large project to get, it's where that same photo was used 6 months ago at the same site, that type of thing. So enhanced searchability and auditability, and then reduced manual data entry errors. Now on to meter inspections. So again, all of these are AI models. These are all still using photo AI. This one is actually used to detect corrosion, buried meters, rust, and vegetation interference. So this is where we're really sticking with being compliant with those PHMSA regulations regarding meter placement and protection, as well as ensuring regulatory alignment and proactive maintenance. So this is where we're helping you to identify, especially for vegetation management and interference. We heard about that yesterday when it comes to like vegetation being on lines and needing to have someone cut those back. This is where we can have that proactive maintenance. So as far as the field tech itself, they're taking the photos and the AI itself is classifying the meter condition. So nothing else for the user to do. However, there are thresholds that you can configure to trigger those corrective actions or auto close inspections. Maybe even send it out, maybe you want to take a look at it in another 6 months just to see how things might be progressing. And then also some of those automation features are the auto close and rescheduling the inspections, especially if it's PHMSA regulations. We want to make sure that those are accounted for in those correct time frames. And the forms included right now are the meter inspection and corrective action form. And all inspections are organized into dedicated folders. So this is actually showing what it looks like in the system, and this is more so on a mobile phone view. So we're showing that we have the address itself, all the ticket information, and the meter information. And once the photos are uploaded, you'll see that the images are successfully uploaded, and this would be an example of what it looks like with the meter. And so if you can see, for this one specifically, it had a really high score of it being corrosion, and as you can tell, that this is a true obvious one. You can see all of that rust, all of that. And then you have very being a very low score. Well, that makes sense because it's not there. I know I'm moving through that a little fast. If you have any questions about that, I can take a step back on that one. But really, it's supposed to help with streamlining inspection workflows. Like, it's detecting those scores for you. You can build what you want those thresholds to be and the corrective action that you want your teams to be able to take on those, as well as reducing the regulatory risk. Everybody wants to follow PHMSA. Nobody wants to have them yelling at you. Nobody wants to be fined. This is why we're here to help. And improved asset condition tracking, as well as training to help for your field techs to learn, and it helps the models to learn as well. So, the summary of the solutions together and how everything works. So we have the locate photo ticket audits that I started with and how that works with the optical character recognition, but then we also have the meter inspections and how those are able to help you to detect that corrosion, buried meters, and the vegetation in the photos. Now, one thing I will add is that as we're building those workflows, say for example, leak surveys, this is where we are looking to build on top of our workflows to have, once you have those leak surveys and you have everyone, or not everyone, maybe you have one of those Picaro trucks that are out. I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with Picaro trucks. They are trucks that have lasers on the top of them and help you to find different, I see some heads nodding. So if you have those Picaro trucks, sometimes there are areas still where a physical person or the truck can't see. So you might need to have a person get out of the truck and physically go. And that's where something like this helps them to move even faster. So you have the truck to help you with one stage, and then you would have a system like this to help you with the other stage and keep things moving along. So the way that we can communicate value, this is scalable for auditing. Makes it much easier as far as that human resource issue, improved compliance, reduction in risk, streamlining workflows that I've talked about a lot, as well as that asset condition tracking overall. And that is it. Thank you. Are there any more questions?
I was just gonna ask.
There's a button.
Well, so how far back for the ticket when you validating the tickets and the photos have been used before? You mentioned your example was 6 months, right? How far back can you go, and does it work with archive ticket once the tickets have been archived?
So it is configurable. It currently does work with archive tickets. Because we have to be able to go back.
Okay.
What's the accuracy level on it?
Of the model itself. Yeah, so we have different companies who have been using it, and they found the accuracy, I have to look at the numbers, I will say that, but they found the accuracy to be high. But we have found that with certain workflows, there are additional pieces that we didn't necessarily consider that we would have to take into account. Also, they wanted specific data points to be able to be visible to them to know what enhancements they even wanted. It's one of those things where they didn't know how much data would even be available, and once they found out that certain data was available, they're like, oh, well, maybe we can ask about this, and that's kind of where we are right now. Right?
So any work forward on recognizing other marking mediums like lath with colored flags or whiskers of those colors?
So I'm sorry, you'll have to explain to me what whiskers
A
are.
lath is a piece of wood. If they pound it in the ground, they usually will paint the top or tie ribbon to. And it's used very commonly in locating large projects and other things like that. So, or whiskers are those things you pound in the ground and they're kind of a more permanent marker instead of paint.
Thank you.
So those would be the two more common ones that I didn't see in there.
Well, currently they do not account for those. But I will say that doesn't mean that we can't build something off of that. The models themselves are pretty simple to create. We just have to make sure that the development is integrated with that. But if there is a need for that, that is definitely something that I would want to explore and see where it is in the audience, because we haven't talked about that and explored that before.
Comes down to data. We
Yeah.
need lots and lots of photos with those types of things in them as well.
I think it was a minimum of
Which I don't know if they're
100 pass,
used.
100 fail. However, like Kyle mentioned, the more data, the better. So even when I'm building the models, it literally tells me, you need more photos to make this more accurate. And I've had customers who try to only give me 50, and it was 50 of the correct ones based on their models, and I've had to like ask for others and more, and that's the part that can kind of take longer. But the more data points we have, the better. That's always ours.
Ashley, with the photo auditing, you said it would prevent them from adding responsive photos that did pass the audit. Is that correct?
The AI photo.
But it doesn't prevent them from attaching the photo. It just prevents them from doing responsive. Is there any way to maybe prevent them from attaching the photo? The case being our area patrol attaches photos. Guys get to the field and say the photos don't match the coordinates. So the photo's already in there, they're not the one clearing the ticket. I'm trying to find a way to correct the wrong photo from being attached.
So one thing I will say with that is that the system itself detects the pass or fail. So let me take a step back here, because I noted it in one of the slides. Yeah, so there is a requirement of number of valid attachments. So even if they do provide the invalid one and it's detected by the system, it still has to meet the valid attachment threshold. So if it doesn't meet that valid attachment threshold, it will fail. So the idea there being that even if it is attached, it won't actually be considered successful and meet the criteria to even move on to move forward.
Dave, are you looking at it from a pure location standpoint, that the picture is not where the locate is?
That's correct.
Yeah. There's other methods beyond photo AI that can also detect that and keep it from happening. We got a question over here, Ashley.
Oh, okay.
Related to the meter set inspection picture, it sounds like that's kind of like a preset, hey, you ordered this or you get this package and you get the meter set form plus I think something else with it. Is there ability to configure those forms for annual peak survey? Because our company does regulated surveys, we perform a meter set inspection and peak survey at the same visit.
So this is just to get you started. So this is why it's kind of like your starter pack, if you want to call it that. Now, if there's any configuration that you need to do to the form from there, or if you want to add additional forms to your workflow, you're free to do that. That is not a hard set stipulation.
Can you do the other way of having this add on to existing form or process?
We're working on that.
Okay. Sounds